Hey guys, what is up? Lefty back here again, and thanks for checking out the video. So today we're going to be reviewing, for like the fourth time trying to record this video, some Spikes tactical lowers. So let's get right into it. Okay, so today we do have a sample size of two Spikes tactical lowers that both have the enhanced lower parts kit in there. I do have them swapped out with different furniture. I do like the BCM grip. And stocks, honestly, I really don't care. I'm kind of partial to the BCM stock as well, but it really doesn't matter. It's all personal preference in the end. So we're going to go through both of these, review these as a lower and maybe a little bit of the company. Real quick, too, I try to record this, and then all of a sudden I got that stupid presidential alert, so it stopped my recording. So luckily, I think we're good, though, right now. So let's get right into it. So, all right, so we're going to start out with the pros and cons, I guess. Pretty much all AR lowers are basically the same, especially if they're the they're the aluminum ones. And if you get into billet, you can obviously have like a little bit of different things because usually they have, kind of enhanced controls where you can actually have like a bolt release up here or something like that. But for the most part, a lower is a lower. And really that's kind of the least important piece of the AR. If you think about it, upper receiver, gas, port, barrel, gas system, those are much more important for the actual functioning of the weapon relative to the lower. The lower just basically kind of houses all the control systems. So take it for what it's worth. Most lowers are basically going to be the same, unless obviously you have kind of an enhanced one. So we're going to talk about my kind of experience with these, basically just with the cons, because like I said, most AR lowers, basically the same thing. So now this is my first one. I've had this one for the longest. I don't remember exactly when. I got this pretty much right after the Sandy Hook thing blew up. Not right after, so I didn't pay an arm and a leg, but I believe I've had this for about 4 years, let's say, and I have had this about for 3 years, 3 years, something like that. So this one is definitely my oldest AR lower that I have. Well, that I use frequently. So my experiences with it, this has been on a 16-inch BCM upper. I've had basically no malfunctions with it that I can remember. I will get into some of the malfunctions that I've had with this a little bit later, but yeah. The fit on the lower is actually quite tight. Usually, from what I read, most of the upper lower fitments is a little bit kind of wiggly. This one, pretty much both of my BCM uppers are actually pretty damn tight. So that's actually kind of a nice thing about that. So you don't have to do the stupid AccuEdge thing or anything like that. Honestly, the slop really doesn't bother me that well because it doesn't affect reliability from what I've seen. So. This thing's been pretty much reliable in terms of the actual function of the weapon. We will get into the thing that I do not like a little bit. Actually, we'll just talk about that now. So, with this one in particular, I don't know if the bolt release, bolt hold open is out of spec, or maybe the mag wall is out of spec a little bit, but we will slide in a magazine. As you can see, if I can get it to focus here, you can see the little lip there on the bolt hold open is actually slid off the follower. I said that a little weird, of the magazine there. So people might say, well, it's just the magazine. Well, if we put it into this one, as you can see, it definitely catches the end of it. So it is not the follower or the magazine per se. It is just the combination of this. And as you can see, it does it very consistently. So this one does not like Gen 2 PMags. I have not really noticed that issue with anything other than Gen 2 PMags. USGI mags with the Magpul followers, the same ones that are these. No issues. The Gen 3 magazines, no issues. The Lancer mags, no issues. Well, I did have a little bit of issue for my first one, but then it kind of sorted itself out for some reason somehow. So that is basically one issue that I have with this, and this is kind of a big issue. Now, what is this going to do in a fight? Basically turn your AR into an AK where it's not going to have a bolt hold open. Is that a bit of an issue? Sort of. I've never actually had it happen in shooting up until recently, which is actually really fucking annoying. So basically, yeah, you'll get a bang, thing will go forward, because usually if you shoot a lot of ARs, you can kind of feel that thing lock back in your shoulder. It has a different recoil feel when you fire, so that kind of gives you a signal. It's like, oh shit, my gun's empty, gotta reload it. It basically just turns it into an AK. It goes bang, cycles all the way forward, you get a click. Well, AR thing, tap, rack that bitch, and the bolt closes, right? So it's not a failure to lock open. So the bolt will close again, and then you go click. So that's a little bit of a pain in the fucking ass. I would not want to have that happen in a fight because now I'm clicking 2 times, and that's just fucking stupid. So, and then also when you go for reload, obviously you're going to reload on a closed bolt, which is not near as efficient or fast as just hitting the the bolt release. So that is a bit of a issue. Now there is another issue. I'm not really going to be able to show this without getting my lower, but I don't think it's a big issue, but just be aware. This one again, when the bolt is locked to the rear, the safety actually binds up. So if I'm shooting bang, 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 the bolt locks to the rear. Some people like to throw the safety on just for added benefit or whatever. The safety will kind of bind up like this. You can kind of force it back into the full safe function, but yeah, it will kind of bind up right about there, and it has to like kind of push past the spring and stuff like that. And some people might say, well, just get a new spring, get a new D10s or something like that. I have multiple different ones that I've tried, and none of them have fixed the issue. So I'm going to assume it has something to do with either this safety or just the way the pivot D10 spring system sits in there, and somehow it's able to kind of bind itself. I'm not going to replace it because it works. I'm not really a big fan of putting my safety on anyway. I want to do a reload with the bolt locked to the rear anyway, but that's just me. So that's really the only issues that I've had with any of their lowers. So like I said, they fit great, they work right, especially this one up here. But yeah, that is a bit of an issue for me with the goddamn bolt hold open. But in terms of all the other parts, I mean, they all work plenty fine. The safeties are nice. They're 90-degree throws, which I recently got a what is that damn thing called? The Radian 45-degree throw. That thing's pretty interesting. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit later too. But yeah, they all work fine. I've never had any other issues. For the spikes trigger, obviously I can't really show it to you because I have to cover it, but it's basically mil spec. It's a little bit. It's not like fantastic, but it's not really like bad either. I don't know. So I'll kind of explain it to you like this. It kind of feels like it's very mil spec in terms of weight and kind of feel, but it's a little bit less creep. So you basically put your finger on it. It's got a nice wall, and it just kind of slowly rolls into the brake. But it's not that much, so it's not like a two-stage type feel, but it's definitely not mil spec where it's kind of gritty, kind of sloppy, creepy bullshit that it kind of just breaks whenever it wants. This one's a little bit more distinctive and more like predictable as well. So I think it's I don't really know how much these are worth. If they're under the other ones, which I think are around $65, it's not a bad upgrade. But I think BCM and then also AOG has their upgraded triggers for about $65, so I would not pay any more than for that trigger. So all in all, besides the magazine issue, which I don't really use Gen 2 PMags for any type of defensive use anyway, I mostly use either Lancers or Gen 3, so that would never happen in a fight, but just the fact that it does happen, kind of a big pain in the ass. But all in all, hopefully people kind of got some information from this. And also I should mention price. These were kind of the enhanced ones, so I think these were just under $400, I think, at the time. Obviously, I've kind of learned that a lot more now about the AR kind of system. Now I think you can get, I would say, better quality for not as kind of fancy parts in it for about, let's say, $150, I think, because like most Aero Precisions or whatever are pretty much good to go with decent parts, and then no spec kind of shit. If you want to upgrade to like an ambi safety or a better trigger, obviously that's going to increase the price, but to each their own. But obviously, these work for people that want to know, and they're pretty reliable, sans the bolt hold open. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be good.